Gorecki, Grandpa, was born on March 23, 1903, to Martin and Josephine Gorecki. His parents came to America from Poland as young adults, met in Rockford, Illinois, and moved to Milwaukee. Grandpa's father served in the elite guard in the German army under Kaiser Wilhelm and was a large and very strong man, as Grandpa remembers here.
He used to be a big, strong guy. He was tall. He could beat up 2 cops. He was so strong. Imagine a guy carrying 300 pounds of ice on his shoulder. He must have been. And them days, they didn't have that padding time like they have today, or they'll, I don't know if they're able to lower ice today.
Grandpa was born in the family home on Arlington Street in Milwaukee and grew up on the east side. He was the 5th born in a sibship of 7, and his siblings were Selma, Jack, Walter, Ed, Helen, and Julia. Grandpa met Julia Malecki at the age of 19. Grandma's mother was not fond of Grandpa at first, and there was also resistance to this relationship from Grandpa's sister, Selma, who was a psychic and had a negative premonition about Grandma. Grandpa and Grandma courted for 2 years before they married at the age of 21, and went on to raise 3 children, David, Patricia, and Rita. After he was married, Grandpa worked several different jobs until he was hired by the transit company. He worked as a conductor on a streetcar for 1 year before becoming a motorman. Grandpa worked as a bus driver for the next 32 years. While he was driving the streetcar, Grandpa met Byron Helfert, who became Grandpa's lifelong friend. The two of them traveled extensively throughout the years, beginning in 1947, and in fact had visited all of the 48 continental United States. Grandpa loved his children dearly and had a special relationship with each. Listen closely as Grandpa recalls when his son David returned home from World War II.
So he says, no, you can't have off. So I pulled a badge off and I just threw it. They had a little slot in it and I said, right there, here, take this badge, stick it up your ass and just job with it. And I walked out. And then
Dad came back from the war.
Yeah. I said, I haven't seen my kid in 30 months. And he was out there battling and you were making money here. We were working. So Bert must have sent one of the guys, hey, Gorecki, come on back. I said, tell him to stick the job up his ass. I told him once. Oh, he said, come on. He says, you can get off. He says, here's your badge. So I went back. All right, take the day off. Well, I said, one way or the other. I said, I was gone. Job or no job.
In the years to follow, Grandpa would go on to retire and pursue the things that gave him pleasure, namely, being with family, traveling, fishing, and of course, playing cribbage. In 1974, Grandpa and Grandma celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. I remember when they made the announcement at Mass in the Immaculate Conception Church, and Grandpa clasped his hands above his head and shook them in a gesture of victory. The parishioners applauded loudly. Certainly, this could be the first of many volumes in the story of Grandpa's life. Each of you has your own personal memories of Grandpa and Grandma, as do I. I remember hearing stories about when Grandpa went to visit my brother Mark while he was in the Air Force. I received letters from my cousins Cindy and John, which told of countless good times visiting with Grandpa, whether it be at a family get-together or simply playing cribbage on a rainy afternoon. Cousins Dana and Chris had the privilege of living with Grandpa and Grandma, and of course they could tell 1,000 wonderful stories. My sister Michelle and I remember the weekend visits to our house and the gatherings at 2976 South KK. In the following passage, my brother Paul talks about what Gramps meant to him.
This is Paul Gorecki. I just wanted to share a few of my sentiments about a man I love dearly. First, I feel very fortunate to have known my grandfather so well and to have had so much fun with him, especially as an adult. Gramps was a man rich with experiences who told of these experiences in the most colorful and humorous way. I think we all like to hear his stories. They were funny, interesting, and I could hear them over and over again and never get tired of them. One of my favorites was about how his father, Martin, would go into the tavern and would bite a hole in a beer stein. I don't know why, but that always made me chuckle. Gramps was king of the one-liners. How are you? I'll ask you. As a kid, I never understood that. I think until I was a teenager. Or he would say, how you doing? Everybody I can. Glenn Gorecki was a loving, affectionate, most humorous, intelligent, fair, generous, and modest man who truly earned the deep respect of his entire family. I used to love to joke with Gramps and tease him, and he always showed that he could take it just as well as he could give it out. I have many fond memories of Gramps playing cribbage, memory of going to the racetrack with Gramps, that was very special, or just sitting around and talking with him and laughing for hours. Gramps, I speak from my heart as well as for the rest of the family when I tell you we love you and miss you dearly. I hope you and Grandma are at peace together.
The remaining portion of this tape contains images which are sure to warm your heart. Please enjoy with me now, Grandpa and friends, through the years.